everybody who's been around Bitcoin for a long time thinks to themselves the same thought, which is, I should have put everything into Bitcoin when I first heard about it. I should have maxed out credit cards. I should have taken debt. I should have done everything possible. And then I should have never, ever sold any. I should have never, ever traded any. I should have never, ever, tried to go into Bitcoin treasury companies or do shitcoin trading. I should have just bought Bitcoin and held it. But, there's this quote that like 99% of man's problems come from the inability to sit alone quietly in a room. And it's just, that's one of the hardest things in the world, is to sit alone quietly in a room and do nothing. The investors whose portfolios outperform everybody's are people who are dead, which means that the hardest part of investing in Bitcoin or investing in anything is just being a human being with emotions, and feeling the whipsaw of greed and fear and boredom. I'm feeling a lot of boredom recently in this most recent bull market, whatever it is, crab market, which has its own pull to destroy your wealth, which is like, hey, you're bored, buy a Porsche. That'd be fun for like 2 months, right? It's like shit like that, which like I'm not gonna do, but like I think about it because I'm a messy human being who's like, yeah, I want a Porsche. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is like, there's this lie on Bitcoin Twitter that gets bandied about where people are like, oh yeah, dude, I'm in my Bitcoin Zen, dude. I just hodl. I don't even think about it, dude. Like, it's just easy for me. And I don't believe these people at all. Number one, because I know them and I talk to them. And when times are bad, they're as scared as anybody. And when times are good, they're as greedy as anybody. And so I'm just willing to just say it as it is, which is like, yeah, when times are really good, I get really greedy. And when times are really bad, I get really afraid. And, I've been through every emotion you can possibly have from hodling. I've cried because of hodling. I've vomited because of hodling. You know what I mean? Like I was also just very hungover when I vomited, but I attribute it to hodling.
Getting Bitcoin is hard. Understanding Bitcoin is hard. But hodling is harder, right? Because
everything is really simple, but it's not easy, right? So like,
yeah.
There are these formulas. The things that matter to human beings are health, wealth, and happiness, right? And there are these formulas for how to be healthy, wealthy, and happy that are very simple, but they're not easy. So like the best example would be, if you want to be in really good shape, you want to be really healthy, then eat less and exercise more. That's about the simplest formula you can come up with. But how hard is it to walk by a plate of fucking fresh cookies that just came out of the oven and not put one in your mouth? It's impossible. My wife literally just made cookies and I was like, no, I'm trying not. And then I was like, I'm just going to eat 6 cookies, right? Because they're hot. They just came out of the oven, Bram. They're so good. I must eat them, right? So you're fighting against this activity bias, this your human biology, right? You're fighting against your own internal biology. And that biology, this is where it gets counterintuitive. That biology is very important because it keeps you alive, right? And it has kept people like you alive for millions of years. And so if you're like threat detection, this is a good example. If you're a animal or a small human on the grasslands of Africa and the grass moves in front of you, right? And you can't see behind it. Well, probably it's the wind, but 1 out of every 30 times, 10 times, whatever, it's a tiger. And that tiger is going to fucking eat you and kill you. So you'll see this with prey animals that like when the wind moves the grass, they spook and they fucking run, right? And we have that in our DNA. That's very hardwired into our biology, where like it's always better to do something rather than nothing. That's activity bias. Every human being on the planet feels intuitively that it's better to do something rather than nothing. And in investing, it's the opposite. It's better to do nothing rather than something. It's the same thing with the cookie example I gave, which is like, we all come from a biological state in human history where we're in caloric deficit. We are like the first, the last like couple 100 years in the Western world, we're the only humans to ever live in caloric abundance. Mm-hmm. And we're suffering all the diseases of caloric abundance because our biology is from caloric deficit. So like when we see fresh baked, sugary cookies, we think I need to eat these until I can't physically eat anymore because I don't know when I'm going to find sugary cookies like this again. This might be the only time in my lifetime I ever find sugary cookies, right? And so so now you're walking through the airport and there's sugary cookies everywhere, and your biology is just screaming at you to gorge yourself on them, and then you have to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's the same with like when the price is dropping, your biology is screaming at you to sell Bitcoin, and you have to say to yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's this constant, it's this constant grappling with yourself in these deep, deep primordial desires. I mean, these things go to the core of what it is to be a human being, and you have to jujitsu them. You have to judo them to do the opposite of what every cell in your body is screaming at you to do. And that is what HODLing is. It's not this bullshit of I sit in a meditative pose and I just HODL, bro. No, that's not what it is. Okay. If it is that way for you, then you're a special, unique individual. And I don't believe you at all, because I know you when you say that. It's going to be it's a knife fight in a phone booth. That's what HODLing is, but it's you versus you. It's you versus you.